This comment about the show from YouTube really highlights a problem with Valve. Again, I love Valve, but let's be honest. This is a problem. I don't know. No shame to this user. No shame to this user. But we're talking about Discord going public, and they posted this. Why wouldn't Valve make a chat app? I guess if nobody uses it, does it really exist? I guess this is the tree falling in the woods of apps. Because Valve did make a chat app. And in fact, when Valve made the chat app, it was during the beginning before Discord really took off, when it was like Rumble and like all these other Mumble or whatever the hell and TeamSpeak and like a whole bunch of other things going on. And Valve like, hey, we're gonna make this thing, right? And it was one of the engineers was just like, hey, I have this need for this with my friends. I'm gonna build this tool into Steam. It's gonna be awesome. And everyone's like, this is awesome. You should go do a whole bunch of other stuff. And then that's where you get into one of the problems of Valve is instead of having departments in the traditional way that you have, and there's people who work on the Steam team, and there's people who work on but like, you don't have this like boss that's like, hey, I'm the holder of this and I'm going to make sure these things all get, if we create these things, we make a promise to the customer that we're going to keep doing them. Instead, they just kind of been like, hey, you're really good at that. So can you go redo a bunch of Steam stuff? Right. And you'll see this where, like when we built the community features out, I was the customer for that. And I was yelling all the time about that. And I still wish that didn't exist the way it existed because I was like, hey, bunch of developers wouldn't need a web page if they could control what goes on their community page. We can make that where they could use an API call and just have that go up on their web page. But to have that, I need to have the ability to remove things from being in the community circle, right? Be it offensive images, offensive posts, whatever. And the person building it wasn't a big user of Steam, but they were really good at building these features. And so they built it out, but they wouldn't make that change for me, and it's never been in there. And I would say developers could have just used that community page as their way to talk to the customer on their own web page as well, right? And if you notice, in Left 4 Dead, there's actually a point where we integrated the workshop stuff in there. And actually, that was an engineer who led a team from a game you love. Again, I hate using names because, man, I'm hunting down here for their stuff. But like, he worked with me so that we could have that up there so that we could highlight stuff because I love this community stuff so much. Right, and I wanted a way to bring that up to our webpage. That's when people still went to web pages, granted. Okay, so maybe that's reasonable. But still, I just really wish that had happened. And the same can kind of go for the Valve chat. I don't even know how to get to the Valve chat anymore. I know it's there. It's probably in the chat app. The chat app where I hide I'm online because there's a very nice, well-intentioned person who is going to, the minute they see me online, is going to hit me up with a chat and explain to me how everything I've ever done in my life is wrong and what I should do is just be making YouTube videos. I may have blocked that person. But like, yeah, right? That is a problem. That is a problem when you don't have it. Like, it's great to say, hey, there's no managers and we're a flat company and we can just do all this. And some things are so big, like Steam itself, that people care about, and the business people care about, like, and the engineers working on it care about. And they do a bunch of wonderful, crazy, cool things. And the people working on the games care about their games thing. The people working on this care about this. And the people working on the headsets care about this. People working on the Steam Decks care about this. But if the person running the Steam Deck just decided, like, hey, I want to go off and smoke dope and write Half-Life, let's just say like that, right? And it's that kind of structurelessness that you need to have each other be your manager. And that's when I talk about like being a flat company is not so much that you have no manager, but everybody's your manager and you have to get that. But still things fall through the cracks all the time. And I would say voice chats on that, right? And Steam was probably poised. They could have been a Discord replacement or really have given them a run for their money, but instead said, hey, these other things are more important. And they're right. Like, Steam's more important, and the whole thing, I know the people who went and what they went to go work on was more important. And they don't hire junior people, so they can't have just go, here, junior person, just finish this, right? Like, do you ever think of who writes the software that runs in your car, the apps. Like this could be like you have failed at everything else, and you're like, yeah, just do this. Who cares? Nobody cares. They're all crap. But like right, but when you're trying to write good stuff, the good people move to the other good things, and you're not hiring people just to do the like, hey, maintenance, keep it going. So that's what happens. So yes, Valve did create the Discord competitor, and for a brief minute, and I still wish Steam communities would be the thing that we could use, but they're not.